Hello, good morning. Welcome to Apefoo Life Warrior episode 7. Today will be similar to the other episodes, except today I want to stress on being imaginative with everything that you do. See, normally people, they follow other people and try to replicate their standards. You've got to set your own standards, you've got to set your own bar. You don't want to be a robot, you don't want to be a slave, and you don't want to be the sheep. You want to be the master, the chief commander, and you want to be the shepherd, the leader of your own style, the leader of your own art. I hope what you see me do motivates you to try be more imaginative and try do whatever it is that you find yourself to be the most meaningful type of activity. Anyways, enjoy the sun, enjoy the day, and have strong faith. Keep on watching. Thanks for subscribing.
Hi, so today I'll be starting the day off like I have been doing recently with a weighted vest, as it adds a lot more range of motion to my standard activities and gives me a much more steeper curve of development, which is obviously something you want to maximize on as times against everyone who is alive right now. So it's important to really seize the time that you do have while wearing the vest and try to keep your moves and your techniques dynamic, so you're really utilizing the vest while you have it on and taking the strain off that might be causing on your shoulders. But you want to be buying a good vest that has the weight equally distributed all over your body and allows you to move around very freely and easily, even at much higher weights. 20 kilograms probably represents about a third of my body weight, which is a good measure to go for when assessing what the maximum weight is that your body will be naturally good at exercising at. So I'll be ending off session 1 with some strength training. As you can see, I'll be looking to keep every single strength exercise in as much tension as possible, as it will really utilize the time that I have been wearing the vest. As I mentioned before, time is a crucial element that you always got to be on top of when you're training. You want to maximize your time while you're training, but at the same time when you train, so that your training is effective and meaningful and that it accomplishes your goals. As you can see there, I'm using the sloper grips to really work my grip strength as much as I possibly can. So it's important to try as many different variations of grips so you can target different muscle groups in your body. For instance, over here, though it looks a bit like a chin up, I'm targeting completely different muscles to a standard chin up because of where the bars are placed. This particular exercise, the muscle up while wearing the vest, proved to be a quite tricky exercise. I was trying to keep it as static as possible so that I could activate as many muscles. The more static and slow and steady an exercise, the more it works your body. For instance, over here I've put my hands around my back to really allow me to utilize my balance and not rely on my hands to give me that balance. It's a new little thing I'm working on right now. But over here I've taken the vest off completely, and as you can see, my flexibility has increased a great deal. I'm explosive naturally, which has enabled me to attempt operating at much higher speed. And obviously the perceived effect of once you have the vest off is great, so you're able to do all your moves at a lot more easier level. Also, your confidence is increased, which is important to have when you're training. Training provides confidence naturally as you're becoming stronger, but also it gives you an added boost when you train at resistance, because once the resistance stops, your body mirrors the improvement that you've made over that time while you were training at resistance. It's good to utilize as much equipment and different styles of training as possible to incorporate simple things like washing lines, for instance, will allow you to provide a great obstacle. Having a punching bag is also great, provides a good dynamic, and having a good open space to train in is very ideal. If you don't have that, then just go to your local park or something and work out wherever you feel fit. The world is your oyster. Over here I'm trying to improve on doing my handstand type moves, so it's good little idea that I came up with today. It was good in helping me try different exercises to what I normally try. And once the vest is off, I'm able to perform more repetitions of the same movements and it's also a good idea to vary as much as possible, as when you vary your exercises, you work completely different muscle groups what you normally would work. So you want to be trying as much of a variety of exercises as possible. And obviously when you're doing strength training, or any sort of training really, you want to be as static and slow and organized as possible, as you can activate a lot more muscles and rely on no cheap tricks like momentum or using the swing motion, as a lot of people do. When you rely on things such as swing and momentum to get you through, when you're not actually using your muscles as much as you possibly can. Obviously, if you will give you explosive strength, and it's important to have that as well, but it's also important to remember that you should have both. You should have the ability to go statically and the ability to go explosively. The way I see it, getting the static ability is a much more long-term greater advantage, as it gives you a lot more strength and it allows you to get a lot more in control and in tune with your movements. So when you do go for the explosive stuff later on, I believe that you'll be able to perform the exercises to a much higher degree than you would have if you just went straight to the explosiveness. Also, the risk of injury is lower, I find. When you train at as much strength strain as possible, your muscles are oxygenated so much so is that it enables you to carry out improving at very rapid rates. Whereas when you train at explosive type stuff, it plays a lot more strain on your joints and your tendons. But if you do things such as wearing a vest, carrying out moves that you're able to do before is much more easier. What's over here, you can see me working my balance more and practicing the most dynamic type of kicks I know. I take training inside now for phase 3, and I carry out doing my core training, as you can see. And as you can see, my handstand type press ups have improved drastically as compared to my previous stuff. I'm able to hold static positions a lot stronger, but as you can see, all the strength is coming from the middle here. The limbs just simply follow where the core dictates. But what's the most important is your mind. You've got to keep it strong. Even though you're inside, space is a limiting factor. It's also a time for you to work in more controlled environments, which is obviously something good to have in your artillery, to be able to adapt to different terrain and different styles. As you can see, my footwear has changed here, but still, it is not stopping me from going out there and really practicing moves in my penultimate round for the day. I'll be implementing a variety of styles and arts during my training that I've picked up over the years. And I'll also be trying to, as though it looks like I'm doing the same thing every time, what I'm trying to do in this particular time is focus on less movement and a lot more control, which I stressed on earlier in the video as being a very important element of your training, is to have control. Which is why you see me working the core a lot and going into these kind of positions, as it provides a greater obstacle for the body to conquer, which means it works a lot more harder. Obviously, with training at much higher tension, you have to exercise control anyway, because otherwise there's a much higher chance of injury and pulling a tendon or really doing yourself over in an ugly way. So it's important to always remember your technique and trying to keep it as controlled, as smooth as possible. And over time, you'll get more control. You just have to be very patient with everything. I'll be doing things such as one-hand chin-ups, which are a great way to isolate your muscles. You could go one hand and go for it, because you never know. You might be able to pull it off one day, and you can work a lot of different groups of muscles in isolation. But it takes more time, so that's worth watching as well. As you can see there, the muscle up is a great exercise that works a massive variety of muscles and allows you to target parts of your body that you weren't able to do so ordinarily with a normal pull-up. It's a completely new variation that's come into play more recently, where people have been trying it, and it's a very popular exercise. I find that when you do chin-ups, you should always extend your legs. Raising your legs works your core a lot more, as it distributes the weight in a different manner to normal. So your brain processes this as a much more complex movement. and that makes your core work a lot more harder than normally. Over here you can see me just ending off my day now. We're just practicing some simple combos and maneuvers and just giving the body a nice little shake up. And over here, although it looks a bit tricky, this is just a simple way to just work the core. Like working the core, I can't stress on it enough, it's very important. I'll be finishing off the day with the crab, shoulder stand, a simple hamstring stretch, and a bit of training on the door frame, which is a great way to develop your forearms, which is an important skill to have. And that's a good stretch as well to really alleviate a lot of pain in your back. Thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe. Watch out for episode 8.